Damn it.
That still works.
You good? You need another one? Okay, cool.
We are live and rolling.
All right.
Right on set. Stand by.
Okay.
Action.
Okay, so, bruh, like, I'm gonna start this conversation off very randomly. Like, there was an interview you did a couple of years ago
Yeah.
where I think, like, you expressed the energy that I was feeling as well, bruh.
Mhm.
Like, and even though, like, most of public opinion was like, this guy, I felt where you were coming from when
Yeah.
you were having an interview and like the guy was saying, no, this is how you should run your business, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't know if it was out of frustration or what, but you got to a point where you're like, guys, I don't need any more advice. Give me 5 million and I'll do what needs to be
Yeah.
done. Like, just put the money on the table. Like, what was going on that got you to that point?
To that point.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most critical interviews of my life that changed how the public views me.
Yeah.
And I'm forever going to be grateful of that interview. Just to give you a bit of context, at the time, I think I had been running Skinny Sbu Socks for 7 years or 6 years, somewhere there. And I had been a South African media sweetheart for the past 7 years before that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the first time the world in South Africa were exposed to me was a year after I started Skinny Sbu Socks, when I did my first interview with CNN. And since then, I have been saying everything right, deliberately knowing that I'm building a brand.
Yeah.
You know, I can't call outside the line.
Yeah.
And as a speech and drama student who knows how television functions and publicity and all those things, because the two cornerstones of my business have been incredible distribution and publicity.
Yeah.
You know, so at the time I had built this beautiful image of a young entrepreneur who's successful, who's getting all the sexy deals and saying all the right things.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to the SABC that day. It was the first time, I think, doing a live interview. Like, as I was saying those words, they were going out to 3 million people at that time, you know. But the energy was off backstage from the host of the show, and the guy was sitting next to me. And I remembered my grandmother, who said these words. She was gone at the time, but I think 2 years then I was experiencing problems in my business, where like our offices were being shut down, and one of our team members were giving the media some news about them receiving salaries late, the office being shut down, like just the negative side of the business.
Yeah.
And my gran at the time said to me, but they've been writing bad stuff about DJ Sbu, your hero, and everybody else. It's time for you to get that too.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's time for me to create a beautiful piece of television content that will last forever.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I let go of the small persona that I'd created of a boy who's gonna be the bigger person in every situation.
Yeah.
And I said, you want me in the mud with you?
Yeah.
I will go right in the mud
Yeah.
and do what you want us to do. And from that day, I think because I got into the space at 21, people thought I was a kid all along, and me now was growing for the past 7 years, you know. And it changed how now I am being treated in a professional setting. People now know for sure when I come in that I'm here for money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here for advice, or I'm not here for whatever it is that people try to do when you're striking a deal.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why we both here is so that you benefit and that I benefit. So I think it changed how I'm perceived publicly. And that's what I needed at the time, and that's what I need. And I think that's what every entrepreneur and every big dreamer will forever need.
Yeah.
You know, your dream will forever be bigger than your budget. Right now, for the past 2 years, I have been planting seeds in the US, particularly in Los Angeles and New York.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive exercise financially. So because the dream is bigger, I need more money.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
So yeah, that was what was happening at the time. I needed money, and people were just coming in with their own stories.
Yeah. So I think, just to give context to this, you've obviously been running Skinny Sbu for close to 10 years now.
It's 10 years this year in
Right.
2023.
Yeah.
We're celebrating 10 years.
Dope.
Yeah. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. This and my relationship are my two biggest accomplishments over the past 10 years.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. So, like, you've been running Skinny Sbu for going on 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective as well is
Not going on 10 years. It's 10
10
years.
years.
Yeah,
Okay, 10
it's 10
years.
years. Wow, we're not 10th yet. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and my perspective is also coming from having operated in the retail space, FMCG brand, etc., and also done a short stint in enterprise and supply development, right? And I'm giving this context so that people understand where the conversation is coming from. We're not speaking from a place of frustration today. Today we are saying, like, we've both got context on both sides of the small business value chain as it comes to South Africa, right? And we want to have a real conversation to unpack the actual challenges around that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've seen, and when you said that, why I was like, actually, I get where this man is coming from, is that people don't understand that running a small business is expensive, right? And it's all well and good that you get free PR and people will put you in their little leaflets and talk about your specials and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, in order for you to successfully run your business, you need money.
Yeah.
Right. There's hard costs that you need to account for. You mentioned stuff like salaries. When people aren't getting paid on time, the business isn't operating.
The mood is not right in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have right. The mood isn't right with the team, and so the business doesn't move.
Yeah.
You're not able to pay your supply chain. You're not able to get products. You're basically not able to move your business without money. And one of the things that I've seen is that in the South African context specifically, like a lot of how business development is structured has to do with and not to go into a technical conversation, but it has to do with how the legislation around it is structured, right? Where the triple BEE codes seem to be more about box ticking than actually helping businesses.
Yeah.
Having moved in the corporate space as a small business, like, what are some of the biggest hurdles and challenges that you faced? What are some of the things that were a bit of a shock to your system? Talking about stuff like margins and rebates and having to pay fees and commissions for stuff that you weren't expecting, where maybe you walked in thinking, okay, currently the socks are able to give me a margin of 60%, I should be good with that. And you get there and you find that actually, no, there's a whole bunch of other costs associated with operating at a corporate level that maybe you hadn't taken into account.
Yeah.
Okay,
for me, I think I've seen every stage in terms of like signing on our distribution partners have been a learning curve for me. You know, I started out as a young boy, like selling in the streets of Joburg. And because the brand has constantly been growing faster than the business, we had to catch up to the brand as a business, you know. So immediately after that, our first learning was with Superbalist, because it was our major corporate distribution deal that we got. And I think the biggest learning there was handling consignment, you know. Because for me, I just wanted the product to get to the people, you know, not knowing that when you sign a consignment contract, everything is on you.
Yeah.
And if your distributor is not selling, they return everything, and you still stuck with the stock. You're marketing it.
Yeah.
You are paying for everything. They're just giving you a platform.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I took that lesson into my next partnership, which was Starterfords. And Starterfords exposed me to the world of brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Because they were the first distribution brick and mortar partner we partnered with. And I learned that we needed to grow fast.
Yeah.
You understand? Because Starterfords only had 20 stores.
Yeah.
You know, but the brand, as I mentioned at the time, during that 5 to 7 year period, our brand was growing faster than the actual business.
Yeah.
and that pushed us to go knocking at the doors of the Fushini Group. Markham is a 3 billion rand business.
Yeah.
They have 350 stores, you know. So already when I got to Markham, I had already been burnt already a couple of times. But funny enough, a lot of people who were backing me at the time, who happened to be white folks as well, who function in that space, told me that these people won't allow you to grow as fast as you want to grow, because this is the thinking. When a distributor like the one I just mentioned right now takes you on board, they want a black face because they are selling majority to black people. They still have their own in-house brands that they make more margins on, you know. So if I'm sitting on a platform like this one that has a lot of numbers and I'm sending people to that to that platform, they're only going to buy one pair of socks, but they're going to spend 2,000 rands on a t-shirt and jeans, you know. So I went in that space blindly thinking that I will change that, you know. And it's funny how I experienced what Kanye experienced with Adidas and them way before it happened with him. It's just that mine was not on a global platform, you know, because when we signed the deal, we had agreed on how we on our growth strategy together, you know. If we reach this milestone, this is what's going to happen. If we reach this milestone, this is what's going to happen. And 2 years in, we didn't see those things happening. We stayed for another year, and thank God to COVID-19, we're able to just leave the contract, you know, unharmed. Because our partners were not adhering to what we agreed on. You know, so for me, every I see it like as I'm talking from an entrepreneur's point of view, not as a business. From an entrepreneur's point of view, I saw all these mistakes or these challenges as a learning curve. And right now, as I'm seeking like global distribution with the moves that I'm making, I think I'm in a much better situation. But in all honesty, South African retailers are not set up to help entrepreneurs. But on the other side, I can't fully say that, because you have people like Portia M who are executing very well in that space, you know. And I've recently started a relationship with her just to find out on what is she doing, you know. But you are not set up to succeed in that particular space. But there are people who are doing it very well. And I'm still learning how they're doing it. And if they are doing it, I think there is a way.
For sure. What are the three biggest mistakes that you think you made going into those relationships? So if we're talking Superbalist, Stutterfords, and Markham, like what are the three things that if you could hit reset and go back to the beginning, that you would want to do differently as an entrepreneur?
If I'd like to do things I'd like to do differently as an entrepreneur, the other two, I don't know what I'd like to do differently as an entrepreneur, you know. But I think the last one would be, maybe we should have weathered the storm. Maybe we should have stayed a bit longer and see what happens, you know. But at the same time, our staying was impacting our bottom line, you know. Because they didn't want to grow as fast as we were growing. But I think the one biggest thing, maybe we should have stayed a little longer and see what happens post COVID-19. You know, so I think that's the one thing that I think about now. Maybe we should stay a little longer. You know, but at the same time, it's the reason why we are now able to take whatever small resources we have and plant it on our international endeavors is because we don't have that relationship to maintain. You know, so we have more time and resources now to say where are we going, you know. But if there's one thing I would have done differently, is to weather the storm and stay a little longer with our last distributor.
So that actually brings up a very interesting question for me, because I think I appreciate the fact that you went Superbalist first, which is e-commerce, before going brick and mortar, because this is something that I try and encourage some of the SMEs that I interact with that are asking questions like, how do I get into retail? How do I drive distribution? Maintaining a brick and mortar presence and a brick and mortar relationship is fucking expensive.
It is.
Right?
It is.
So like, you mentioned now that you're not in a situation where you have to do that, where Markham, because of COVID-19, Starterfoods because
They shut down.
it is what it is,
Yeah.
right? Like, what are some of the things that were hitting your bottom line in terms of trying to maintain that relationship that now you no longer need to worry about because you don't have that brick and mortar presence?
Marketing.
Okay.
Driving traffic rather to
Yes.
to the store,
Yeah.
not necessarily marketing. I think driving traffic, because we were a niche brand, but also after you drive traffic, you need to realize that there's already an audience there, so you need to market
Yes.
to that audience.
Yes, yes,
We're selling a pair for 150. They are selling their in-house brand for 150 for 5 pairs.
Yeah.
So we needed to spend more money on in-store activations.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of money yes, you still have a floor space,
Yeah.
but you still need to market your product there because you're competing with other brands within that particular space.
100%.
So you do have an audience, but you still need to market yourself to them.
Yeah.
So that money we're able now to spend it on other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I imagine the actual cost of the stock as well, because like when you buying stock, it's not, yes, it's an asset, but it's literally cash that's sitting
Yeah.
in a store. So if you're sitting in a scenario where, say, for example, you'd gotten to the 300 stores that they had to offer, that's X number of styles. So you need like 5 to 10 styles
Yeah.
per store. You need 5 to 10 units per size. That adds up quickly.
Yeah.
In terms of the capital as well. Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to leave, because in our case, if we're able to reach 350 stores much quicker, we're going to be able to access more credit.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's easy to justify whether to government or private funders.
Yeah.
When you have that much footprint and that much orders that need to go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was what was frustrating us, is because we were sitting with a lot of money men who wanted to let go money, but the number of stores they gave us couldn't justify the investment.
Yeah.
You understand? So that was very frustrating, and we're busy explaining to them that, guys, all the risk is on us. You just need to give us a letter that says this much stores and these much units, and we'll be able to go get the money. It's easy to get money.
Yeah.
It's easy to get money when you have the letter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was one of the frustrations, is just that they didn't understand that when you are building, particularly in this era and in this stage, speed is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So also at the same time, I understand there is part of the reason why I'm wanting to shift territories is local business people and money man versus the international one. They really get it. The reason why startups overseas like grow fast is because of the backing they have.
Yes. Yes.
The investors are on par with the founders or the business. So I think that was a bit of a misunderstanding was at. But because they called us, with all our distributors, we've never reached out to them. They reached out to us. We need to go back to our magic as a brand. And maybe we'll be able to negotiate better. It's way easier to negotiate while you're still out versus when you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, if I had to summarize it, it's almost like there's a bit of a balancing game that you need to play as an entrepreneur when you are trying to grow the business in terms of scaling at the right level, because scale comes with expenses, but scale also gives you the opportunity for funding.
Yep, 100%.
How did you find that the experience of funding itself, in terms of like how the corporate partners and how the funders, government and non-government, operate in South Africa? Like my point of view is our ecosystem isn't set up to help small businesses, bro. Like,
at all.
We speak about we've got triple BE, there's ESD legislation, there's a Department of Small Business. None of that shit is set up to help small businesses. It's set up for businesses that, you're doing 50 million rand in turnover, cool, come through, we'll fund you, right? Because you're still technically an SME. But in all honesty, a business that's doing 2 million, 5 million, 10 million it's not set up for those businesses because on the one hand, corporates don't want to take the risk of, okay, here's a letter of intent, right? And on the other side, the funders are like, bro, if you don't have either distribution or a contract in place, we can't touch
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how did you find that experience, and what do you think needs to be different in that space?
I think my view is different. I don't think it's not set up for us.
Yeah.
The hardship is part of the journey, and it's supposed to be like that. And if it were easy, we'd all be doing this.
Facts.
We'd all be playing in the field. So I think the task is for us, the players in the field, to be more creative.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay.
So, for example, Nami, I was part of the notion that government is not going to help up until I actually started interacting with government, and also as an entrepreneur, I think I also started partnering with people who are good at speaking to government.
Okay.
And because this is to help our peers, I think when you go for government, you just need to tick the boxes, man. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I'm a creative mind.
Yeah.
I think in colors and shapes, but my business partner, my uncle, is an accountant, is a numbers guy.
Yeah.
He's that, and he's able to just tick the boxes. Like with government, it's not about a beautiful proposal. In all honesty, if I can say it on this platform.
Yeah.
It's not about how beautiful it's almost like, remember in school with teachers, no matter how good your answer is, it's just not on the rubric.
Yes.
It's not on the rubric.
Yeah.
So with government, you just need to copy. You just need to do what they want you to do, and you'll get what they want.
Yeah.
What you want from it. And in terms of private investors, you almost need to look good publicly. As an organization, goodwill plays a good role. From my personal experience, it's not always. From my personal experience, whenever the brand was performing or the business was performing good publicly, and we're making enough noise, we're able to attract private investment. As mentioned previously to you, that I sold my business twice and bought it twice. Both those transactions, those private investors didn't even need to see my books because of how we're doing well at the time as a business publicly. So I think we need to understand our audience when we go look for funding as an entrepreneur. And right now I'm in an era in my life where I am looking for private investment, and I'm playing the public game of looking good. But it's not only just about looking good, it's making sure that we also perform. We're selling our online store. The reason why we are not seeking other distributors is because we're doing extremely well online as a store. It took us almost 2 to 3 years to learn that. We've had, funny enough, we've had our online store since the beginning of Skinny Sbu Socks, but the pandemic really forced us to just focus on it and understand it, and I was asking myself, why am I shopping online so much and not? I don't have a platform as well where I'm selling to people, So I think we're doing well in that regard. So I think you need to know who you're speaking to, and then you'll perform to them. Funny enough, I was telling my girlfriend 2 weeks ago that I kiss ass when it comes to my clients. You understand? I kiss ass. Shout out to Standard Bank. They've been carrying my bag for almost a decade right now. I kiss ass to Standard Bank. Hashtag it can be. Because they pay my bills. So I think when you understand who you're speaking to, just kiss ass, just do what they want you to do, and you'll get what you want. We shouldn't frustrate ourselves that much.
I feel you. I feel you. So that's actually it's a key lesson.
Because it's easy for us to sit here and moan about government or private investors and stuff.
Yes.
And another view is that there is a way.
No, so basically understand your audience. It's
understand your audience.
If your audience have got their objective, they've got their mandates, they've got whatever they are trying to deliver. And if you want to be effective in how you interact with them, you need to understand
Appeal
where
to
they're
them,
coming
yeah.
from and appeal to all of those things. That's a powerful one.
Yeah.
So then,
And another thing is that everybody's trying to protect their money.
yes,
Right? So they'll put a lot of measures in place
Yeah.
to try and protect their money.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So yeah, that's why it looks like there's a lot of red tape. It's just everybody trying to protect their money, because trust me, even with government, when they started out with whatever program they have in place, it wasn't this hard.
Yeah.
It's just that there was 10 entrepreneurs who messed this thing up. Are we allowed to curse here?
Go for it.
No?
They fucked it up for everyone.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. You said it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, yeah.
You said it for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so they're trying to make sure that we don't repeat that.
yeah.
A part of me, like, I do empathize with everybody. I empathize with government, with
Yeah.
private investors.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because I too have been in a position where it wasn't large sum of investments, but I invest in a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I invest in a lot of people, and there's a lot of things I want to see
Mm.
before I put my money. And I'm like, oh, so that's why these
That is
people
why.
have so much red tape, because they wanna be guaranteed that I love you and all, and I get
Yeah.
where you are, but I just wanna protect my money
Yeah.
and make sure that we get my money back.
Sure,
you
for
know.
sure. And I think like that's such a big thing, bro, because it's like, so my frustration comes from, like, I've seen inside the sausage factory, and I know for a fact that if government wanted to do something, they could do something.
Yeah.
I know that if corporates wanted to do something, they can do something.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't. It's just that it's that question of, like, where do their interests lie, right? Government interests, whether we believe it or not, lie with voters, right? And so for the most part, basically, it's a game of cover your ass, right? Government is trying to cover their asses with the voting public. Corporates are trying to cover their asses with their shareholders.
Yeah.
Right. Why are you spending 100 million rand on SME development? Like, what's the basis?
Right.
So I guess the follow up question that I'd ask of you on that is that something where you think that small business owners and entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs, should they be familiarizing themselves with how these spaces operate, or is that something where you're now speaking about getting a partner on board who speaks that language, to make sure that they can help you get those wins?
It's a bit of both, you know. It's constant self-education, because you won't know what you don't know up until you're exposed to something new. You know, I won't know what I'm lacking up until I make sure to confront it with that particular problem. You know, but for me, I think my best move ever was just letting go of a stake and just giving it to my uncle.
Okay.
You know, I just said I don't have, and I will never even for a single day think like an accountant.
Yeah.
You know, because it will take away my power.
Yeah.
My power is to say the crazy things I say.
Yeah.
Is to do the crazy things I do. That's what makes me me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's why I need someone who's gonna balance me. Like my uncle's gonna be like, nah, Sbu, you know, government, that presentation is nice.
Yeah.
But just tick the boxes. That's it.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think it's a bit of both. Like, there are entrepreneurs who are well-rounded entrepreneurs, but I don't think so. You know, I think even the people who also look well-rounded, they probably are good with numbers, and then they find creative either partners or they find a creative team to execute that. You understand?
Yeah.
But we're now talking about someone who doesn't have the money to employ more people.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So we're talking about a one-man band who doesn't have any resources. Try to find a partner. It's better to own like 40% of $100 million business than to own 100% of a $1 million business.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thinking that we should have all the time. It's a bit of both. Just try find a partner that's gonna help you with your blind spots.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's constant education. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that I needed to tick that to check the boxes if I didn't go into government and if I didn't educate myself and was part of the process.
Yes.
Because not everything is on my uncle or my
Yes.
business partner.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
I
yes.
also look at these documents. I also sit in the meetings. I also hear what's happening
Yes.
there. You know, so
Yes.
I think it's a bit of both. Educate yourself, but also because you want to move fast, get a partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's like know what you are talking about, know what to look out for,
Yeah.
but also understand that you're maybe not the best person to execute, right? So,
Yeah.
like on my end, like if we are trying to identify, like if you've got a business problem, any business problem, I can come up with a solution for like in 5 minutes. But I know that on the execution side of things,
You're not the best person.
I'm not the best person.
Yeah.
I'm capable of it, but I know that I'll deliver 50% of the job that someone who specializes in that
would have done it, and in a shorter period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quicker,
Lesser
faster,
resources.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a really key lesson, and it's not like I've been asked this question by a couple of entrepreneurs. Man, I'm thinking of building a team. Great, but do you understand what that person's going to be doing?
Yeah.
Because the other thing is we rush to outsource functions to people, and because we don't understand what needs to happen in that space, when things fall apart, we don't know how to manage for that.
Yeah.
So, I loved your response in the sense that it's both you. You need to be able to move and operate in that space. You need to be able to smell bullshit in that space. You need to know what to look out for in that space. But you also need to know enough to say, actually, I'm not the right person to
who
be
you
doing
are
this
in
my
that
business.
space. You know, I think it also speaks to. It took me a while to understand that I'm not a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. You understand? So I'm an ideas man.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of a conductor. You know, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Most coaches have never even played football ever in their lives, but
Yeah.
they know the game plan, they got the strategy, they know how to motivate a team, and they know how to put a team together.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my strength as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to sing soprano, tenor, or alto, but I know a melody, I know what I want to get, and I know the kind of people to do it for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it took me a while to get there. You know, so I think around 4 years ago, that's when I started understanding that I am not a businessman. I'm not about managing a team. I don't know how to grow a team. I don't know any of those things.
Yeah.
My partner is good at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an ideas guy, and I can get partners. I can convince partners. I can come up with ways on how to grow that idea and who to partner and things like that. I'm good at that, you know, and I'm slowly getting comfortable at that, which is why now it speaks to the second part of this conversation, which is letting go of the business so that it grows as well, you know. So the reason why I'm able to sell it and buy it and sell it and buy it is because I know I've got so many ideas and I can't stay selling socks, you know. I've been, what people don't know is that for the part since 2018, I've been developing 2 properties for television, you know, for the national broadcaster. You know, it's been a long way going there. We've been looking for partners, but I've been doing that. I've been planting some seeds in the youth, and the reason why I'm able to do those things is because I'm not selling socks full time. I have a partner that's able to focus on that full time.
Yeah, that's such a deep realization, but like having that moment where, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like, as people, we vibrate at a certain frequency, right? To go a bit left field, like you're vibrating at a certain frequency, and that has to do with who you are as a person, your likes, your dislikes, where you're comfortable, where you're not comfortable, what works for you, what doesn't. And the world around you is vibrating at a certain frequency. That has to do with your job, how you're doing your job, the people that you're around, etc., right? And it's like the getting to that point where you snap into a place where your vibration matches the frequency of the space that you're in, and you're like, actually, this is where I belong, right? Let me let other people do other stuff. Like, what was that moment for you where that clicked for you? Like, actually, I'm not a businessman.
I'm an entrepreneur. I think it was actually after that big interview, you know, because I was unsettled. And by the way, the 5 years of miracle, like there was a 5 years where Skinny Sbu Socks was performing very well, but I was not happy. You know, because I was busy trying to be a businessman. You understand? I was not in my magic. You know, I was so not happy, and we're doing extremely well as a business. Right, like when I look back now, I'm like, yo, those were our heydays, but I was not happy because I was not in my magic.
Didn't have that.
Yeah, you know, I was not happy. Like I was not happy.
Yeah.
So right now, because I'm a student of the universe, I listen to individuals like Oprah, Will Smith, T.D. Jakes, Bonan, Ellen DeGeneres, Trevor Noah. I understand who I am now better, and I'm able to now embrace other parts of me.
Okay.
You know, hence when when I come back to Skinny Sbu Socks, I'm able to pour more because I'm fulfilled in other areas of me. I'm a content creator just like you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So because I'm able to take like 2 days a week and go develop a piece of content, when I come back here, I have more fire, I have more creativity. You know, and also I embraced other parts of my life, like my relationship, my family, and life in general.
Yeah.
You know, because I think as entrepreneurs, the early years of your business require you to pour in so much of your time, so much that you lose yourself.
Yeah.
But also you lose touch with the world.
Yeah.
You know, and we forget, like, the reason why we are so attracted to your product is because you're so in touch with everyday people.
Yes.
But when you're insulated in this bubble, when you're building, you lose touch with what's happening out there, what's current, and things like that. So when I started embracing other parts of my life, I think that's when things started to change. That interview helped me because we lost like the public's confidence in us.
Yeah.
You know, so we were not performing for a while, and I went in deep. So I'm like, so is my life just socks? Like, is that it? Like,
Who am I?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if socks are not selling, I don't have a life.
Yeah.
I'm miserable.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. Like, that's it? Is that the end? And then I went back. I'm like, who was I before the socks? I'm a creative. I'm a storyteller on any platform. You know.
Yeah.
Then I started embracing those things, and I think that's where like the second coming of Skinny Sbu Socks, or the overall Triplets brand, is coming from our downfall. You know. Now we're able to take the lessons of the past 10 years and grow the things that we're growing, and that's the reason why I'm now like choosing to sell majority of the business right now and move on to other interesting parts of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I've been following your brand for a while.
What is the word?
Like since you started, Doug. Like
what is since I
like
started?
when you were still buying socks and bundling them up with
Yeah.
I'm a reggae.
Yeah. Where did we meet? You hook up dinner?
You and I, funny enough, no, we met in Cape Town.
Okay.
Where I think we might have like crossed paths at the hookup dinner, but when
Yeah.
we met officially, you were on a flight back from Cape Town.
Okay.
And we were on the same flight, and we ended up sitting next to each other.
Oh,
And then we had
snap.
a chat. And
Yeah.
I remember you were talking about like Skinny Sbu Socks, or at the beginning you want to get to a point where the brand can like do tiles.
Yeah.
And that sort of shit. Like
Yeah.
we had like a deep conversation around where you want to go with the brand, right? So, but it's like I've been watching the brand, and for me, looking at it with my perspective of like I'm a professional in the retail and FMCG space, the things that for me look like have been key game changers for you in terms of keeping the business going, right? Are one, I'll call it your media / content strategy,
Okay.
in terms of being a personality in the public eye, and then leveraging that to build the brand.
Yeah.
And secondly, off the back of our chat now, the fact that you started off in the e-commerce space with your Superbalist partnership, and now like really leaning into that as, guys, this you take the brand building and you combine it with a fulfillment platform that is e-commerce. Like those two things work well together. Like, what have those two things done for the business side of Skinny Sbu? And like, are there any other sort of key things that you could call out as having been game changers in your journey along the way?
Yeah, I think in terms of like using me and my story as part of creating content to grow the brand, it's nothing new. I think I want to give credit to people who've inspired that for me for many years. Sir Richard Branson is one of those people, you know. We know Sir Richard Branson for all the stances he's been pulling, you know. But for me, this thing really started making sense when I realized that, oh my God, we can actually sit on a platform where we could be paying 3 million and we could sit there for free if we happen to just build a piece of content using 30K and then and then shop it around. You understand? So I think that happened very earlier on, but also I've always been a student of celebrity and fame and publicity since I was a kid. My mom loved Kanye Kids and Sisemngane. Like we studied Brenda Fassie. We started at home. We loved television, and I saw what TV, radio, or media did emotionally, you know, to our homes and how it affected our buying decisions because my mom saw her favorite TV personality wearing something, and then that's how we're gonna swerve towards that product or brand, you know. So for me, I wanted to build a brand that was gonna be part of everyday conversation.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That is gonna fit into what people go through on a daily. The reason why I was public with my depression was because I knew that if I'm going through this, other people are going through the same frustration.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm public with this thing, because we're living in an era where every entrepreneur is perfect and clinching the deals and doing very well, maybe it might give us some mileage, you know, in media wise, you know. So I think that is when I started being very intentional, but also it comes from a place where I know and I understand from a very young age that I'm an example. And I remember at 10 years old asking God to make me an example. I didn't know that I was not only going to be an example when it comes to like good things, but also when it comes to bad things. I'm a national example of what not to do with money, with business decisions. I'm that example. And right now in my second act, I know I'm an example of how to build globally. I know I'm gonna be that of how to build globally. And people have this misconception, you know, when they talk about a team, they're thinking about 10 or 20 people or 1,000 people around you who are making things happen. I mean, when I'm talking about a team, I'm talking about less than 5 people. You know, around you who are helping you make this thing work. You understand? My sister, who at times when banks didn't want to talk to us, she's kept a full-time job, I think for the past 15 years, and she's able to go take a loan on our behalf, and we pay her. You know, so I'm talking about those kind of things. You understand? So I think having a team of people around you, it's not necessarily yes men's, you know, but it's people who understand when to say something to you. You know, to understand I'm in a crisis right now. I don't want to hear any negativity. But you still deserve to hear some truth. So they know how to put it to you. You understand? So I've had people like that. I've had people who you know, I have a lot of people around me who, when I need a piece of advice, I go to them. The reason why I'm still confident even today I don't even need advice from you. Right? Up until you put in money at Skinny Sbu Socks, keep your advice to yourself.
Facts.
You understand? I have a lot of people around me. Zibusiso Mkhwana is the founder of Avatar Agency. DJ Sbu, Portia M, as I've mentioned. Like, I have a lot of people around me whom I've identified. Now when it comes to like distribution, where finding distribution partners, I'm consulting with Portia. I have certain people for certain things that I go to all the time. You know, even the late Wandi, founder of Lokshin Culture. When it comes to like handling media, I go to Leslie Mufukeng. Like, I have tons of people who I go to and just consult with for different reasons. So I think just developing that circle of people. One thing that's not a mainstream topic is just developing a sound spiritual life, man. You know, let's not forget God, but God is real, you know. And so many deals, let's be honest, between you and I, so many deals that you got, it was not on merit, bro. it was because it happened.
Because you were in the right place.
Yeah, at the right
talking
time.
the right way,
Yeah, but how do you explain that? The only explanation of that is God.
Yeah.
You know, I look at so many. I don't know why Standard Bank is still backing me it's a crazy idea. Like, you know what we're doing with the Grammys? We're basically just giving away our socks to American media and personalities.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's all from our pocket. And why is Standard Bank coming through again? I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, we grind. Trust me.
Yeah.
I work hard.
Yeah.
I'll work you under the table.
Yeah.
I work when you're working. I work when you're sleeping. I work when you're thinking about work. I'm working all the time. But that doesn't justify my wins.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I seriously believe in God, you know. So I think as entrepreneurs, we just need to find a higher power. And it's not a one form of God. It's the same God that you had as a kid, that God, you know, just acknowledging that God, they call Abanye Bambiza, it's a he, it's a her, that just having a spiritual practice will carry you through that whole process. Of lately, I've been learning how to embrace other parts of my life. You know, just to escape the bubble, as I've mentioned, you know, I'm as intense in my romantic relationship as I am in business.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, after you vote, when you get a check today, you need a female voice around you. You need a sweet voice around you to enjoy that money.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you're not gonna find that an authentic person, or let me not say you're not gonna find an authentic person. You know, you'll find people at every level, but it's not easy to find people when all the money is here. So you need to put in the same intensity you put in your work. You need to put in your personal relationships that nurture you. You understand?
Yeah.
And I think I've done that extremely well over years. And I think also the vision that I have for myself.
Yeah.
I am Skinny Sbu, Mina, outside the socks.
Yeah.
I'm Skinny Sbu.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be Skinny Sbu, whether like even today we decide to close the sock business, I'm always gonna have something to sell. I'm always gonna have something to aspire to push and stuff. So I think imagining ourselves outside our business also stands as a talent.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that will push you and will make you want to stay in the game. And I think also being fan of this thing, you know, I consider myself part of is a bafana of entrepreneurs as in South Africa.
Yeah.
You know, it's DJ Sbu, Likau, Tepo. Sorry?
I say Bafana but winning.
Bafana but winning.
Back in the
You
90s.
understand? I'm part of the national team of entrepreneurs in the country that are winning. So I'm also part of a fan of the game. Like I'm watching everybody right now, and I'm like, yo, how are they doing this thing?
Yeah.
I call them and I ask, like, you know, a small thing such as when I opened my store in Maboneng, I got a visit from my two brothers from Likau and Tepo, and they're like, we don't think this is the right location. And it came from the right place. It came from a good place, you know. And by the way, this is after they've spent a couple of thousands in my store. They're like, we don't think this is the right location. You know, the reason why we're winning is because we're at the mall.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I'm also like still a student of this thing, and I'm a fan, and I'm just inquisitive, you know. And most importantly, I am trying my best to have fun, dog. There's no entrepreneurs having fun more than me in the country or I'm having fun with this thing. I'm having fun with the reaction from the public. I'm having fun with the product, with the creation, taking a logo and putting it on my neck, on my, like, we just trying to have fun with this thing because we don't know how much time we have on earth, you know.
I think if you're not having fun with it, depression will get you, dog.
It will, because it's that hard, it's that difficult, you know. Like, where do you get the balls to say I'm gonna come up with a product or a service and people are gonna buy it from me, you know?
So I think, like, I love the being a student of the game piece, right? So in regards to that, I'll ask the question, 3 things that you would, so if you are sitting now talking to someone who's considering entrepreneurship, they want to launch a product, practically, yes, there's the spiritual, emotional,
the other misty stuff I mentioned,
all
but also, you know, people don't get it.
Yeah,
that's what makes you.
It is
The misty stuff.
It is.
Because Nami, I used to, before like started getting into it,
Yeah.
I used to be like, give me something tangible that
Yes.
I'm gonna go out there and execute. Before you go do that, because you're gonna get a no,
Yeah.
you just need to sit still
Yes.
and be with your God.
Get in the zone.
Yeah, you understand. But I get your question. You can continue.
So I'm going to ask you the 3 practical things that you
Practical.
would give someone.
And I'm terrible at practical things. I'll
But the
try.
first question I got to
Yeah.
ask you is like, what's the easiest part of entrepreneurship been for you?
The easiest part of entrepreneurship
Yeah.
is coming up with an idea.
Okay.
Everybody's got ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, that's the most easiest part ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still have more ideas right now, but I was watching a Tapelo Mukone interview on 3 Talk. He said he's learning what misguided passions are.
Okay.
The reason why I've been selling socks for the past 10 years is because I have a lot of passions as well.
Yeah.
That happened to charm my money.
Yeah.
I'm putting a lot of money on most things that I think, this is gonna make some money and stuff. But I'm really intensifying on this one thing because I too still have a lot of ideas even today. That's the most easiest part when it comes to business, coming up with an idea. But execution, bro, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, execution is the only strategy.
Execution
your customer
is
sees,
real.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like on that partner, like you're sitting in front of like a 12-year-old kid in primary school who's got aspirations of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And they want to start now,
Mm-hmm.
so they prepare themselves. What are the 3 things that you tell them
To do
Yeah.
is to start.
Yeah.
Now I started in primary school selling sweets and stuff. I wish I was more bold enough to do what Casper did at 16.
Okay.
Casper just looked at the whole system and I was like, okay, cool. At the end of the day, the system is trying to teach me how to make money. I've figured a way of how to make money.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna rap and turn rap into a business.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I think I wish I was bold enough because I remember I came for my first Soul Buddies audition when I was 12 years old. And that is when I was like, this is me. This is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
So I wish at that time, I'm speaking to that 14-year-old, if you've got a burning desire, your mind you still have a virgin mind, it's not polluted by failure. Because the more we fail is the more safe we get.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So right now, that idea you have, I wish you can jump. What pushed me into business when I was 20 was because I was doing a job for some girl, white girl, of course. She was 20 as well, and she paid all 20 of us for a job year 2 weeks. She paid us 25,000 per person.
Okay.
So probably she charged client 75,000 rands and she made 50K.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe she charged client 50 and she made 25. But my point is, I asked her, like with the same age, you've got such a great business going on. What's happening? She told me I started my business immediately after matric. I asked my parents to give me my money, and started my business. So this is someone who started their business with like 500,000 to R1 million. You understand? So I wish for people to start very early and make mistakes, like very early.
When it's still cheap.
When it's still cheap, and you don't have a family to take your own family to take care of, and like before, like adulthood comes, because adulthood on its own comes with its own thing. Before you go out and say I'm an entrepreneur,
It's a
a
party.
home stuff is a career on its own.
Yes.
A woman is a career. Inside a career, career that needs all your focus and money and attention. So I wish for people to start very early, and that girl just like opened my mind with like we got a lot of kids right now in university who are spending hundreds of thousands. And all these people have bright ideas, but they're going there thinking that sitting here is going to make me any better or something. With most people it does. And my sister is a huge scholar, and her life changed because my sister has been pursuing education, and even right now.
Yes.
There are some people who works for them.
Yes.
But I wish the perception can just change. Lengo's kunini sama sweet, kunini anama ideas amaning. So once they finish matric, 1 or 2 years of family, just give them 50K and they go and do what they think they want to do, and start acting on it and executing on it, So I think for that 14-year-old start now, like do it and do what you have in your mind, And I think the last thing is Try not to listen to abantu abadala, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, listen to them with a pinch of salt,
Yeah.
you know, because I too, like the reason why I'm forcing right now, like I told my family, my partner, and everybody, Uguti, I gave myself 10 years in Joburg, 10 years at Pele 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I said on my 10th year I'm going to New York.
Okay.
The reason why I'm going to New York end of this year, I'm leaving, I'm dropping everything, I'm going,
Yeah.
whether I have the money to live there or not, is because I have become an adult so much that I'm now starting to be like the adults that I used to resent. You know, I used to be like, well, and the reason why Skinny Sbu Socks won so much is because I woke up one day, went to Mr. Price, bought socks, sold them, and actually wrote this person a letter and actually did this. And actually, like, I was so naive. And that's why they say ignorance is bliss.
Facts.
You know, so I value that part of my life, but also I value the experience I gained. So right now I'm really trying to go back to just doing things, man.
Yeah.
Don't think too much about it.
Yeah.
Don't plan it too much. Plan it, but not too much.
Yeah. Have
till
a direction. But
you know, because we plan too much till we find everything that's wrong about our idea and we're demoralized and we can't do it and stuff. If you think about it instantly, do it. Funny enough, how I started doing the Grammys was on the 10th of December 2022. I thought about, I need to do something major for myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I wrote the Grammys a letter.
Yeah.
The day before Christmas, they emailed me. They're like, "Let's rock."
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think too much about it, and all my wins were like that.
Yes.
You know,
So
I think to that 14-year-old man, just go at it. Like, listen to adults with a pinch of salt.
yeah, man. It's like you know what to expect, but also move like you're completely ignorant, because like it's that thing that you speak about, like our generation speaks about, like being crippled by anxiety. It's because you're sitting there thinking about everything
Too
to
much.
the nth degree.
Yeah.
Stop thinking and do. And in doing, that's where you're gonna learn what works, what doesn't work. Sometimes you get to a point where you're like, hey, this isn't for me.
This
I'm
isn't
out.
for me. Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to take a break, go back to the drawing board, rethink, and sometimes you just win.
You just win.
And like it all comes from a point of doing, right? Like, and even you getting to that point with the Grammys, you had to sit down and write that letter.
Yeah.
But before you could write that letter, you had to build the brand.
Yeah.
Before you could build the brand, you had to be like, fuck, let me go to Mr. Price and buy socks. It was literally just starting. You solving, what's my next problem?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to solve 25 problems ahead. Tomorrow's problem is tomorrow's problem. What do I need to solve for today?
Right now.
And that's
you
so
know.
powerful, man. Like,
And I think that also informs my next move as well.
I was gonna ask, like, you mentioned a bit about New York. Like, what's next for Skinny Sbu? So, like, if you close
Well,
your
there's
eyes,
a lot of things next. You know, they say don't mention your plans, you'll jinx it. Me, I've mentioned all my plans in life.
put it into the universe.
Yeah, if it jinx it, it's jinxegile. So for me, I seriously, for me, I feel like I've done everything. Yeah, I believe I can change whatever problems we have, whether it's electricity, crime, GBV, whatever it is. I think I can solve it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I still need to go out there and learn some more, and I want to be a billionaire president. So that's why I'm going to the automotive space. I believe at 35 I'll be a billionaire.
Yeah.
If I do it right, or when I do it right, or I'm gonna do it right and be a billionaire.
Yeah.
And after that, I do want to build a family. I still aspire to build other parts of my life. You know, I want to be an incredible dad, a husband. You know, I want to build other parts of my life.
Yeah.
And then I think my last move in life is to be president of the country. Yeah.
We're the ones we've been waiting for. Bro.
Yeah.
Like Oslebo keeps saying to us. Bro. So clearly it's time to end the interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, no man, like I appreciate you pulling through. I appreciate the chat. I think hopefully there's one or two things that people can take out of this and sort of like apply for themselves and run with and use it to galvanize themselves to take action, man. Like I wish you all the best. I know that like ups and downs, win or lose, like you're gonna succeed at the end of the day, bro.
I'm a born winner. Like mina ngiyazwinela.
no,
You
so
know,
what
I just need to wake up and go do, and then I win. You know, but I'm a winner, and I'm happy for this, Katekani. Thank you very much, bro. Like, I truly appreciate like you creating this platform. We need more platforms. Like, we are the ones who are gonna take entrepreneurship mainstream, because
for sure.
like we need to educate our people about it's like this thing is not that hard,
Yeah.
you know, because when I started out as a speech and drama student, I used to listen to the terms they use in business. I'm like, I will never go into business, you know. And part of my what's rooted deep down inside, the reason why I'm so naked about my business journey and my wins and my losses, I'm trying to appeal to someone who's not a natural entrepreneur to show them, yo, dog, a business is not all these terms about show you. I'm told a business is just packaging a product and getting it to a customer. That's what business is. Ogunye, it's fancy terms for them.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not true story, man.
Sure.
Much
Thank you very much.
appreciated, Maji.
Cool. Let's do this.